My whole world basically glitched overnight. I went to sleep complaining about some awful novel, the type where the heroine suffers endlessly, gets betrayed, loses her baby, gets mutilated, dies tragically. Also, the male lead can cry about her for the rest of his life. Yeah, that's story dot. And when I woke up, I was in it dot, not just anywhere. I landed right in the middle of the scene where the heroine gets blamed for her own miscarriage. Perfect timing, right? But listen, if this ridiculous tragic universe wanted to play games with me, I was going to flip the script dot, so the first thing I did was grab a phone and call emergency services. Hello? Someone just tried to kill me. Let's see if this melodramatic world actually had law enforcement. Next thing I knew, I was waking up in a hospital bed with disinfectant stabbing my nose and a headache pounding behind my eyes. And standing beside me was a tall man in a black trench coat, whose voice was so cold it could frost the windows. If you're awake, stop pretending. Go apologize to Leia. That voice. I recognized it instantly. Matt Lennon, the male lead of the story. Handsome, rich, and with the emotional range of a wooden plank dot in the original novel. He and the heroine were technically married, but only on paper. She worshipped him for years while he stayed oblivious, only growing vaguely fond of her when forced. Then his childhood sweetheart Leia returned. Drama exploded. Leia drugged him, hoping to drag him into her bed, but fate twisted and he stumbled into his wife's room instead. That night led to a pregnancy, a very fragile one. And Leia? She marched straight into their home later, picked a fight, pushed the heroine down the stairs, and killed the baby, and somehow I was supposed to apologize? Absolutely not. He tried dragging me out of bed, lecturing me like I was the villain. You fell because you were careless. Leia's been crying from guilt. You should apologize. I yanked my arm away. Give me your phone. He thought I wanted to call Leia. Sweet summer child. He handed it over. I dialed emergency services again. Hi, yes. I'd like to report an assault. Matt's face froze. Priceless dot officers arrived, and I immediately went full tragic mode. Tears, trembling voice, the works. My husband cheated on me, I sobbed. His mistress came to our home and pushed me down the stairs. I lost my baby. Please help me. Matt practically choked, trying to deny it. And then Leia appeared in the doorway, dressed like some fragile angel ready to win an Oscar for fake innocence. Before she could speak, I grabbed at my hair, screamed, and hid behind an officer. She's here again. She wants to finish me off. She killed my baby. The room went silent. Then I delivered the finishing blow. I installed cameras at home. You can check the footage. Leia's face drained of color, like someone pulled the plug on her soul. When the police came back with the video showing her cornering me, shoving me, and the blood pooling at the bottom of the stairs, Leia broke down. Matt's brain finally rebooted, and he muttered, horrified, Leia, you did cause the miscarriage. She crawled to him, sobbing and begging. I cut her off. Sweetheart, I'm the one you shoved. I'm the one who lost the baby. Why are you crying? Then I turned to the officers. I'd like to press charges. Leia was arrested on the spot, and once the room calmed down, I looked Matt dead in the eyes and said, Matt, I want a divorce. He actually had the nerve to look offended. You don't have the right to demand a divorce. I threw a water glass at his head. A divorce is my legal right. You don't get to decide. Water dripped from his coat. Blood from a cut trickled down his forehead. He whispered, You're not supposed to be like this. I laughed. And how exactly should I be? Quiet? Obedient? Easy to bully? No, thanks. I'm done. He stumbled out of the room in shock dot, and for the first time since waking up in this nightmare, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I could win. Leia spent 15 days in lockup, a light sentence, honestly, probably thanks to Matt pulling strings behind the scenes. But jail time was jail time, and it shook her. Meanwhile, I hired a lawyer the very next morning. I wasn't going to walk away empty-handed like the original heroine. Smiling bravely through tears. No, if someone breaks you, you take your compensation, and then some. We drew up divorce papers. Listed every shared asset, traced every bank account. It was a legal minefield. And we made sure I owned the field. But Matt? He stalled, obviously, so he sent his mother to deal with me. Yes. Mrs. Lennon. She walked in wearing Chanel, dripping in diamonds, and radiating condescension like perfume. In rich families, marriages are arrangements, she said, sipping coffee delicately. You caused a scandal by calling the police. Be sensible. I looked at her, picked up my own cup, and threw the coffee straight in her face. Brown liquid ran down her perfect blowout. She shrieked, outraged. Are you insane? Yes, I said calmly. Insane from your family's mistreatment. Your son cheats. His mistress injures me. And you come here to scold me? Her face twisted with fury. She snapped at her guards. Take her to the basement. Teach her some respect. Old habits die hard. In the original story, the mother-in-law controlled everything through fear and cruelty. She thought I was the same helpless girl she could bully. Not today. I dialed 911. Double quotes. Yes. Hi. I'm at the Lennon mansion. My mother-in-law is attempting to detain me. Please send officers. The look on her face was worth framing, and it got even better because I had been recording the entire conversation. Every threat, every command. The police listened, eyes narrowing. They gave her a stern warning about unlawful detention. They couldn't arrest her yet, but humiliation works almost as well. As I left with the officers escorting me, one of them leaned toward me and whispered, "Stay safe. I have a feeling we'll be seeing each other again." I sighed. He was probably right, because even after all of this, Matt still refused to sign the divorce papers, and trouble kept coming. Leia was out of jail. Furious and completely unhinged, first attempt. She released a venomous snake near my apartment. Who does that? Too bad for her, I had installed cameras everywhere. The footage caught everything. When the police arrived, I greeted them like old friends. Yes, it's me again. This time it's attempted murder with a snake. Leia earned herself another 15 days behind bars, but she wasn't done. From jail, she organized a smear campaign, leaking fake photos, doxing me, hiring trolls to harass me nonstop. I went to the police claiming emotional trauma, and that landed her yet another charge. And Matt, he finally started to realize he might have really screwed up his entire life. He kept trying to talk to me. I kept walking away. One day, I cornered him inside a cafe and asked, "What do you want?" He looked tired, lost, almost human. "I was wrong," he said. "I truly apologize." "Accepted," I replied. "Is that all?" He hesitated. "You've changed. I don't think you love me anymore." I almost laughed. "You cheated. Your mistress caused my miscarriage. And you're surprised I'm different." He insisted nothing ever happened between him and Leia, that the photos were fake, that he loved me now. Now, after everything, I wasn't buying it. And when we finally went to court, my lawyer laid out every piece of evidence: the snake incident, the smear campaign, the body cam footage, the abusive messages. It was brutal, factual, and entirely in my favor. The judge granted the divorce. Assets split fairly. Reputation cleared. Freedom restored. When I walked out of court, sunlight hit my face like a blessing. Matt chased after me, reaching for my hand. I stepped aside. "We're divorced," I said. "Don't touch me," he begged. "I regret everything. I'm sorry. But regret doesn't fix shattered futures, ruined pregnancies, or months of hell." I walked away without looking back. It should have ended there. But unfortunately, the story wasn't done with me yet. After the divorce, my life finally started to calm down. Matt, on the other hand, turned into a one-man apology parade. Every morning, a courier rang my doorbell with an obscene amount of roses. Designer boxes stacked up at my door like I'd won some luxury lottery, and someone in his kitchen definitely needed a raise because a full gourmet breakfast arrived every single. Date out my neighbors thought it was romantic, called it harassment with extra sparkle, and since taking any of it felt morally gross, I repurposed everything. The fancy meals. I fed them to the neighborhood stray cats. Those little fluff balls worshiped me like I was their personal goddess. The flowers? I decorated random public planters with them. Parks looked gorgeous. You're welcome, citizens. The jewelry and luxury goods. Too expensive to toss. Too insulting to accept. So I shipped all of it directly to his mother's estate. Rumor said she fainted twice. At this point. Even the original heroine's leftover sadness in my chest had faded. I'd finally carved out a quiet, stable life. But Matt didn't quite get the memo. I caught him following me one afternoon after class, hiding behind a lamp post like a guilty puppy. That was it. Phone out. Dial tone. Hello, officer. Someone is stalking me. When the patrol car pulled up, they found Matt half squatting behind the lamppost. The officer's face said, "Not this guy again." Matt mumbled, "I'm just trying to win my ex-wife back." The officer gave him a lecture that belonged on a motivational poster. Boundaries. Healthy behavior, romance versus harassment. By the end of it, Matt promised, in front of witnesses, to stop tailing me around town. Before leaving, the officer gave my shoulder a sympathetic pat. "I hope your life gets easier soon." Finally, someone who understood. Matt hung back just long enough to ask one last question. "Are you really you?" It caught us both off guard because the truth was obvious. The woman he once knew, the one who begged for affection, was gone. "If I told you I wasn't the same era," I asked, "would that make you feel better? Let you pretend she still loves you somewhere far away?" He swallowed hard. "You don't love me anymore, do you?" "No," I said. "And that will never change." He closed his eyes like those words hurt more than any physical wound. "There are no rewinds in life," I added. "You destroyed what she felt for you." After that, he finally backed off, acting like a normal human being for once. I settled into classes, hobbies, and the joy of being free, but the universe wasn't done. Because Leia? She was spiraling. Matt eventually dug into her past and uncovered everything. The lies, the manipulation, the fact that his own mother had paid her to disappear years ago. And when he discovered she'd been living off some wealthy man abroad until the man's wife caught her. Yeah, the fallout was ugly. Matt sued her for the money he'd spent. Around $40 million. And yes, I was annoyed. That money came from our marital assets. Leia went feral in court, literally tried to attack him, and it turned into chaos. Poetic, but chaotic. I thought the drama had peaked. I was wrong. One evening after class, I cut through a narrow alley. A figure lunged at me with a knife. Before I could react, Nat, out of nowhere, burst in from the other side and threw himself between us. The blade went straight into his abdomen. He collapsed instantly, and standing there, trembling and wild-eyed, was Leia. She screamed that I'd ruined her life, that Matt would have married her, that everything was my fault. Then she yanked the knife out of Matt's body and charged at me again. Big mistake. Had just finished Taekwondo class. One kick sent her flying. I pinned her down, twisted her arms, and tied her wrists with my jacket. When she wouldn't stop screaming, I stuffed a sock in her mouth. My patience had limits. Matt was unconscious, bleeding heavily. I sighed, pulled out my phone, and dialed the number that had become muscle memory. Yes, hello, it's me again. This time we have a stabbing. Police arrived to find one man unconscious and one woman tied like a farm animal. Their silence said everything. The court later sentenced Leia to 20 years for grievous bodily harm. Matt barely survived, clinging to life in the ICU. I should have been relieved. But the final twist was waiting for me in the hospital. A few days later, I went to the hospital to finish my own checkup. Everything came back clean, strong, healthy, fully recovered. For once, life felt simple. But on my way out, I passed the ICU. An older woman rushed out and nearly collapsed right in front of me. Matt's mother. Gone were the diamonds, the attitude, the perfect hair. She looked 10 years older, pale, shaking, desperate. She dropped to her knees and clutched my legs like her life depended on it. I was wrong, she sobbed. So terribly wrong. Please go see Matt. He's in a coma. The doctor said if he doesn't wake up soon, he'll be brain dead. I'm begging you. Pretend you're helping a stray dog. Just for karma's sake, please. People in the hallway were staring. It was the most uncomfortable social situation imaginable. I tried to walk off, but her grip was iron. So I sighed. Fine. I'll look at him, but the door stays open and I'm keeping my phone in my hand. I'm not risking anything. She nodded frantically. We walked inside. Matt lay there, pale and motionless, tubes and wires everywhere. He looked nothing like the cold CEO who used to tower over me. Without the arrogance, the power, the ego, he looked small, fragile. I glanced at him, turned to his mother, and said, I've seen him. Can I go now? But before she answered, the heart monitor spiked. The alarm blared. She panicked and ran to find a doctor. And then, his eyelids fluttered open. Just barely. We stared at each other. The room went completely silent, except for the machines. He whispered, voice raspy, weak, almost not there. Are you? Really, Era? I shook my head. No. He closed his eyes like he expected that answer. Like it confirmed something he'd been afraid to admit. Then he asked, in a voice trembling, with guilt, Then where is she? I took a slow breath and told him the truth. The only truth that mattered now. She's gone. You and Leia killed her. His breath caught. Tears streamed down his face. He tried to sit up, but couldn't. His whole body shook from the effort. Blood vessels stood out on his forehead. He looked terrified, like he was realizing the weight of everything far too late. I took a step back. If you survive this, I said quietly, spend the rest of your life making amends. And if you don't look for her. You won't find her. Let her have her peace. Doctors rushed in. His mother sobbed outside. I walked out without looking back. Matt lived, but barely. He never woke properly again. A permanent vegetative state. Alive, but gone. Without him running the empire, and with a mother more interested in spa days than crisis management, the mighty Linen Corporation fell apart. Internal conflict. Lawsuits. The works. The company eventually crumbled. As for Leia, I visited her once in prison. She looked like a ghost. Skinny, sunken eyes, skin bruised by the harshness of prison life. She stared at me with this hollow expression, like she still couldn't believe everything was over. But it was. The story had officially ended. I survived in her place. I rewrote her fate. I stepped out of a tragedy that tried to swallow her whole. And the original soul, the girl who loved too deeply, endured too quietly, I can only hope she's somewhere peaceful now. Far away from the cruelty, the chaos, and the people who broke her. She deserved a fresh start. And finally... So did I